Good evening and welcome to Metro Focus. I'm Jenna Flanagan. Is Amazon, the behemoth retailer, really ready to pull the plug on HQ2, its massive Long Island City project? There are conflicting reports, but regardless, the company is dealing with significant backlash from the project's detractors. We'll get back to Amazon in a moment, but first, today's breaking news: a major battle brewing within the City Council with calls for one of its members to resign. Bronx Council member Ruben Diaz Sr., who is also a Pentecostal minister, said in a radio interview that the 51-seat body is, quote, controlled by the homosexual community. He has a history of opposing same-sex marriage and is also the father of the Bronx Borough president. Diaz Sr. has refused to apologize. Council Speaker Corey Johnson, who is gay, was singled out by Diaz in the interview. Johnson responded on Twitter, writing, quote, in the aftermath of Councilmember Diaz Sr.'s deeply offensive comments about the LGBTQ community, we are currently reviewing all potential disciplinary scenarios. Nothing is off the table. For more on these stories, I'm joined by city and state politics reporter Jeff Colton. Jeff, welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, so first, we know what Councilmember Diaz Sr. said, but do we know what's going on behind the scenes now?
We don't exactly. In fact, City Council Speaker Corey Johnson canceled a couple public appearances this weekend, most likely because he was negotiating with his members, trying to decide how to respond to Diaz Sr. However, within the council, many members have called for his resignation, have at least called for apologies, and even some of the more influential caucuses within the council, the LGBT caucus, the women's caucus, the progressive caucus, they've all called for at least a censure of Diaz Sr. And this is surprising. It's usually a pretty collegial body. Even the Republicans in the city council get along pretty well with the Democrats. So this is pretty surprising, to say the least, to see so many Democratic city council members really turning against a fellow member of the body.
Well, do we know what the actual rules and regulations are when it comes to something like this, that when a member of this body says something or does something that is not illegal but deemed inappropriate, what is the actual recourse that can be taken?
As far as I know, the City Council actually has quite a bit of leeway in these sort of things. The laws are broadly written. In the past, council members have, as far as I know, I don't think any council members have actually been forced out of office over something like this, but others in the past, such as Queens City Councilman Alan Jennings back in 2005, they've made controversial comments, and then there was just kind of an official censor. You know, the City Council came out with an official notice saying we disagree with what they said, and maybe they were stripped of council committees. I think that's what's most likely going to happen here with Diaz. He will probably be able to retain his seat, but it's likely that we'll see him lose his committeeship, where he runs the influential taxi and limousine committee.
Okay, because one of my final questions was going to be how much of this is possibly symbolic, because we've seen a lot lately from Democrats where they definitely want to take a clear stand on something that is deemed inappropriate circa now, but what can actually be done is sometimes unclear.
Right. I mean, this is politics in 2019. I think elected officials are very careful to jump right on controversies and make sure they're taking the right side of things, even if it means offending your colleagues. And so the City Council right now is all piling on and saying what Diaz Sr. said is wrong. Yet to see what happens as far as actual substantial, issues for Diaz.
Well, that's a perfect segue into the other thing we're waiting to see what happens, and that, of course, is Amazon. First of all, is there really a chance that Amazon could not set up headquarters in Long Island City?
There's a chance, sure, but I don't buy it. Amazon did not choose New York because of the subsidies. New York is giving Amazon subsidies, basically $2.5 billion, depending on how you measure them. But that's much less than other cities offered. Just across the river, New Jersey offered like $8 billion in subsidies, so much more. Amazon is choosing New York because it's New York. I don't need to explain. But also...
Not to our audience, yes.
Exactly. But also because of the workforce here. It's a huge workforce. It's educated. A lot of people that can fill these jobs that Amazon wants to fill. Even if there is some political controversy, even if there are protests, that doesn't change the basic reason why Amazon chose New York. I think, and you know, as the New York Times has reported, this is most likely more of a negotiating tactic, kind of putting the fear in politicians to make sure that they don't lose here.
So is there a chance then that any of these protests that we've seen, this council hearing that we all had a chance to witness, might get Amazon to budge at all? Like, there were a lot of talk about unions and union busting on the part of the company.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Amazon is going to have no choice but to give in to some concessions, whether that is direct investments in the community, whether that is, yes, maybe allowing their workers to unionize, or at least not, you know, if they want to unionize. And various other things that Amazon might have to, you know, try to allay the fears of the community without actually pulling out.
All right. Well, we definitely are waiting to see what happens with that, and the developments we'll be looking to city and state for. So again, Jeff, thank you so much.
Happy to be here.
All right. Thank you.